We're going to discuss success stories of subtropical and tropical restored seagrass. The first large-scale seagrass restoration was at Turkey Point, Biscayne Bay in Miami. The nuclear power plant situated there dumped a lot of waste heat in a state park and killed a large amount of seagrass. During the legal hearings between the Environmental Protection Agency and the power plant, the judge said to me, "Young lady, can you put this seagrass back?" I said, "I don't know. Nobody in the world has ever done that." So they arranged that I would have the funds and the ability to do that. Here we see what it looked like from a black and white photo in that day. And here on the right-hand side, we see what it looks like 40 years after restoration. And it is still viable. It is still ongoing. Then we went to the north part of the bay, which was urbanized, and we found many places which seagrass would survive with the pilot project. Here's one that we planted 18 acres next to a navigational channel, intercoastal waterway, and next to very deeply filled land of the city of Miami. This is still available after 18 years. This is a causeway here at the bottom of the picture, which links Miami and Miami Beach. We planted along the side of the causeway, which was dredged up from this hole in the bottom of the bay, just sand piled up with a causeway put on top, and that is still surviving. Texas has also an intercoastal waterway linking Corpus Christi and Laguna Madre to Galveston. And a series of dredge islands were made when the navigational channel was made. We took away the top part of one of the islands, which happened to be in the Padre Island National Seashore, and planted 15 acres there. And here you see it a few years after we planted it. And here you see 20 years after we planted it and after 5 hurricanes, and it's still alive and doing well. Here's an area in Galveston Bay near San Luis Pass, which many people feel Galveston Bay is the most polluted bay in the United States, in North America. And here is the year we planted, 2013, aerial photograph, and you see the small spots coming in that are growing. And here you see 10 years later, a complete seagrass bed with turtles, endangered species of birds and turtles, large schools of fish coming through, and also many things like blue crab and pink shrimp. This is in Aransas Bay, immediately across from the Whooping Crane Refuge. And in 2013, when we planted it, it was completely barren at Lamar, Texas, in St. Charles Bay. And here you see, after Hurricane Harvey has hit the area, where the seagrass that we have planted has completely made the near shore very robust. This is from 2022. Meanwhile, we had been to Jamaica, which is the first developing nation to have a seagrass restoration project. The Natural Resource Department had 19 places where various pollutants such as oil refinery and oil spills, urban waste and mining, bauxite, tailings, more bauxite and aluminum mining, and peat bog, 19 places around the shoreline. And we've planted 3 different species, each by 2, with the Jamaican workers and the Natural Resource Department, and it was robust at many sites. This proceeded with the United Nations to the island nation of Philippines, which sits between the Pacific Ocean and the Asian continent. Here is Vietnam, and north of that is China. And the Natural Resource Department of the Philippines chose about 10 different places with different pollutants, from dredge and fill and urban waste to mining and to thermal and other kinds of pollution. And we were chief and primarily in the northern islands of Luzon and Marinduque and some of these, because there was quite a consternation going on in the southern islands. But it was very highly successful. We planted 5 different species. They have many more species in the Pacific than we do in the Atlantic. And fisheries nurseries were definitely a byproduct and a service. So the seagrasses we've shown in Texas have restored ecosystems which rapidly recolonize. That is, within months, they recolonize the restoring seagrass for both sports fisheries and commercial fisheries. The sediment has been stabilized in Texas by the root and rhizome system of the seagrass and slows the water movement. The water has been clarified in Texas by the blades baffling the particles in the water, and then the particles being bound by the roots, and mineral cycling occurs, including carbon sequestration into the soil. Texas has lost a great deal of seagrass and needs to plan to restore seagrass. 70%, according to Warren Pulick report, has been lost from the original Texas seagrass. Laguna Madre has the mother lode of seagrass. Some have very, very little at this point, such as Matagorda Bay having less than 2% of its original, Galveston Bay having very little. Restoration has been shown to be successful in the southern bays, such as Corpus Christi, Redfish Bay, and Laguna Madre. We thank very much the Texas Coastal Management Program, as well as NOAA, for having supported this work.